Welcome back to This is Digital Performer Lesson 1. This is Part C. And while you're away, I fixed my 0, 1, 0, 1, and enter. Now it's still pretty shaky. To replace it, I just went and pushed the record button in front of the bass line, and I just did another one, and he erased what was there, put a new one in. Okay, now the next thing that we'd like to show you that's very crucial and for you to learn is how to select material to edit. And so there are a couple of ways to do that. In order for something to be edited, it has to be highlighted. So I can go the traditional Mac command of Command A and see how it highlighted everything blue. That was great. I just clicked away to turn it off. I can also, with my mouse, click and drag over a particular spot and see that was now just the piano is highlighted, or I could drag over multiple tracks. So in case I want to edit just a few as opposed to everything, there's different ways to select it. Or I can come up here to the timeline where it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then this down here is our measures. And you can zoom in and out on this with the buttons if you want to be higher definition. But I'm going to stick to having one measure per box, per column. And by clicking in here, I can drag in this timeline. And notice when I clicked on the not on the top number, because the top number grabs the bar, but the bottom area, which represents the count, allows me to highlight blue, and I can just highlight everything. So again, 3 ways to highlight. Command A selects everything. Click away. You can drag a box around just a particular spot, or I can click away, or I can just highlight in the timeline the area that I want to highlight. So what I would like to do is tell you about an important feature in this program, and it's called quantization. Quantization is when you align a note to a grid, meaning, so as I played this in, I played it in free, even though I had the metronome playing. I wasn't really focusing on being right on the money with the beats, and so it's sloppy. So if you listen to it, it sounds like a kid playing, and it should sound better. So I'm going to use the computer to fix it. And so I first of all have to know what is the smallest duration that I played. And I went bum, bum, bum. So 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. So I did 1 and, so 1/8 notes. And the reason you want to know the smallest duration, because you don't want to quantize to 30-second notes, because then it may, if it's going to move it to the closest 30-second note, I may be far enough off that it will throw my beat to the wrong measure. And then you have to fix those kind of things. So I'm now going to highlight everything. I'm going to grab the timeline and just highlight all the material I played. I could have went Command A since I'm highlighting everything. And I want to quantize this. Now you find quantization up under its region command. It says quantize. Command O or 0 is a shortcut, and you use this a lot, so you learn these two shortcuts. But quantize, and I let go of it, and I get a window that says, what do you want to quantize? Notes. I want to quantize notes and sound bites. Sound bites is audio, notes are the MIDI. Attacks and releases don't change durations. I'm just going to quantize the attacks. And now I have to set the grid, and I have all these options. Half notes, see if I quantize to half notes. I'm not even going to do it because it's not worth it. 1/8 notes. If I was playing in, we'll do 1/8 notes. I choose 1/8 notes, and I push apply. Now I'm going to rewind my sequence and listen to it, because if it doesn't sound good, I'm immediately going to go Command Z and undo it and do something different. That sounds great to me, but I'm going to undo it anyway and show you a couple other things. Say I want to quantize that. If I quantize it to quarter notes, this is what happens. See, it moved everything to a quarter note. I'm going to undo that with Command Z. I'm going to quantize it again, but this time I'm going to do 1/8 notes, and I'm going to do swing, 100% swing, and show you what this does. Kind of gives it a jazz feel. That's a really too hard jazz feel. A good jazz feel would be about a 70% swing. So if I undid that, Command Z, and I redo it, quantize to 70% swing. See what it sounds like. See, and a lot of times I just undid that, Command Z. A good jazz feel, even without using the swing, is just to do eighth notes, but you do it a tuplet, 3, turn off the swing in the time of 2, which would be like this. See, it's moving some things to the wrong beat. So I'm going to undo that. I'm going to go back and I'm going to quantize it to eighth notes alone. And I should have a fixed piece. See, I did some really good things there. Now, one other thing that I'd like to show you in this particular piece before we wrap up, because you're done now. You can play this. Our goal is to do piano, bass, and drums, and we've just done 4 bars of piano, bass, and drums. You can make it as long as you like. But as you're playing the piano part in, you may want to see your notes so that you can know what to play bass line, because it's sometimes good to see your right hand so you can follow along with the bass line. The way you do this is you highlight the track, piano, and then there's another window here, which is a good window to see, and I'm looking to see if I can find it in here. Yeah, it's Quick Scribe Editor, which is Shift Q down here under Project. And what this does is it opens up a window that shows you all the notes that you played, which is kind of cool, so you can follow along. And see, this has my 4 tracks over here on the left, and so I can turn them all on and see what notes I played. And so like if I made a mistake on the bass, I could actually click it and change it. So if I made a mistake, just change it. I'm Command Z undoing that. But I don't, I just want to watch the piano part. I can go Command T, which brings my tracks. Well, I should have brought my Shift T, sorry. Shift T brings my tracks back up. If I wanted to re-record my bass, I put the record button in front of bass, and then I come back to this window here by highlighting piano and Shift Q. So in the background, I know the bass track is highlighted. I could re-record my bass and follow my right-hand notes. I rewind, count off, and I see it's a C chord. That's a G chord. And see, it's a C. So I could re-record the bass. I'm going to undo that. And I see down here where I was playing around earlier, I got some notes really later on. So there's a basic piano, bass, drums, 2 tracks of drums using the basic commands of Digital Performer. So be able to do that, and the next will be lesson 2.